That is a dandy bull, folks.
Hi, I'm Nathan Jones and welcome to Martin Archery's Wild Extremes. We're in the Northwest Territories today hunting with Boyd Warner, who owns and operates Adventure Northwest. This is a great hunt that was set up for us by Mark Buer of Bowhunting Safari Consultants, and Brian gets into the caribou. This is a great one. You don't want to miss it. Thanks for being here. This is Martin Archery's Wild Extremes. Martin Archery's Wild Extremes is being brought to you by Martin Archery, making the most accurate bows for over 50 years. Double Bull Archery, home of the Dark Archer. With your host, Nathan Jones. And also brought to you in part by these other great companies: the Kankakee Marsh Hunt Club, Grim Reaper Broadheads, and Carbon Tech Arrows.
We've had a lot of action. My God, I love this.
Caribou live in the Arctic tundra, mountain tundra, and northern forests of North America, Russia, and Scandinavia. The world population is about 5 million animals. In Europe, caribou are called reindeer, but in Alaska and Canada, only the domestic forms are called reindeer. There are 7 subspecies of caribou worldwide, but in North America, the Pope and Young and Boone and Crockett clubs recognize 5 subspecies. They are the woodland caribou found in Newfoundland, the Quebec Labrador caribou that range the far northern regions of Quebec, mountain caribou that share the mountain ranges of British Columbia with wild sheep, barren ground caribou that slog through the bogs and tundra of Alaska, and the central barren ground caribou that inhabit the Northwest Territories. On today's hunt, we will join Wild Extremes crew member Brian Guffey as he hunts with Adventure Northwest in hopes of taking a great central barren ground caribou. We will be hunting around Pellet Lake, a lake approximately 250 miles northeast of Yellowknife, straddling the borders of Nunavut and the Northwest Territories. Adventure Northwest issues you tags good for both places because the border actually cuts right through Pellet Lake. If a bull is taken in the Northwest Territories, the meat and antlers must be left there. It cannot be transported back to Nunavut. The meat and antlers are cached on an island of rocks out in Pellet Lake. When your hunt is over and upon leaving, the float plane taxis out to the meat, is picked up, and you are airborne for Yellowknife. One word of caution as you hunt with the crew today. Caribou hunting is not just a pick and shoot sport, but if you have the desire to take one of these awesome animals and have a great work ethic, the chances are that you will bring a bull home with you. Boyd Warner has a great area that contains mature animals, but it's a wild hunt. No pins here. You'll have to work for your animal. This segment of Martin Archery's Wild Extremes is being brought to you by Martin Archery, making the most accurate bows for over 50 years.
And this black line on the map represents a border. So we're actually in Nunavut territory here, Northwest Territory down here.
Okay.
And what it's done is until this year we haven't figured out a way to do the export.
Okay.
Because you're hunting predominantly in Nunavut, so any animals you hunt up there, Nunavut tags and the camps in Nunavut, so everything's fine. But legally we can't export those animals from the camp to Yellowknife without an export permit. Legally they tell us what we have to do is leave it on that island. So 2 miles from camp we have to leave the caribou on the island and then we pick it up just before the plane. But I mean, you'd think you were talking the difference between Iran and Iraq here on the border. I mean, this is 2 Canadian territories. There's getting to be more and more and more caribou on the mainland. So much now that this whole range, basically I'll draw it out. They used to call this range here the Bathurst Caribou Range. And what they've done now is created 4 new herds. We've got a herd that predominantly spends a lot of time in this area, calving up here, called the Blue Nose East herd. We've got a herd called the Ahayak that's around here. And then we've got another herd called the Dolphin Union Straight and the Bathurst. So what the government did was they come out last year and they came out and said the Bathurst caribou herd is down by 50%. What they didn't tell people is they created 4 new herds out of what used to be the Bathurst herd range. So if we're going to create, you know, you got to compare apples to apples. Bottom line, is there more caribou out there? And our way of thinking, when you added it up, all the herds together that used to be Bathurst range caribou, there's more caribou.
When you hunt with Adventure Northwest, it all starts at Tindy Air in Yellowknife. Once on the float plane, it's just 2 hours to camp. As Brian and I stepped from the plane, we experienced a surge of excitement upon seeing the fruits of the labor of the group leaving who had hunted the previous week. This group of hunters had definitely been into the caribou and muskox. We met our host for the week to come, and then I was also fortunate enough to experience some Inuit culture and cuisine.
This piece here?
Just
tear a piece off of it? But this is really good.
Or freeze it.
Now the fish here, what, you just dry it right on the skin and then you'll eat that? But you don't eat the skin, or do you eat the skin? You don't eat the skin, you just pull the meat off the skin?
Good stuff.
This is actually really good.
Yeah, this is what we've eaten for thousands of years. That's why they don't really want others to or
they don't want people to come in and change you.
Yeah. Or the caribou to be gone.
Okay.
That's what they're worried about someday.
Are they really?
Yeah, they are.
What you mean with their sport hunting?
Well, nowadays there's a lot of mines.
Oh, okay.
There are a lot of exploration camps and a lot of mines, and now a lot of folks, not even ourselves,
right,
like the Dene and the Dog Rib, they're worried that the migration route is going to be changed.
Okay.
That's why they're sort of careful about letting too many companies come up.
Martin Archery's Wild Extremes will be right back. The manner in which you hunt is to cruise the lakeshore in a boat, checking out countless inlets, glassing as you go. As soon as a herd is spotted, the hunt is on. This was the last week in August, and the caribou were just starting the long trek to the south. The herds of caribou have spent the summer along the seacoast, raising calves and fighting off the hordes of blood-sucking insects, and also steering clear of the predators that they share the tundra with.
There's a caribou over there. It's going to be a pretty good sign. We're not even out inside the camp yet and already seen cows and calves. I'm excited. Well, we just pulled in here and we're going to get up on this ridge and do some glassing. Hopefully there's some caribou out here and we can make a stalk on them. Whoa, looks like a pretty good bull, doesn't it?
Once you step from the boat, realize that before the day is over, You might go miles on foot, but it could very possibly be the adventure of your lifetime. It is now time for the huge herds to pack on the fat reserves that will see them through the arduous rut and the severe winter climate. Even in the face of insurmountable odds, the caribou flourish.
Well, when they decided to travel, we've got to have some cover and stuff to get in front of them. We ran out of cover, and so I think we'll just go back to the boat and try to find another bunch of caribou.
At Adventure Northwest, it seems that adventure is always just around the next corner. And today was no exception. How lucky we felt to be able to see a huge barren ground grizzly at this distance. Here we were, two predators practically face to face, doing our part in managing an incredible renewable resource. The grizzly hunting as he had done practically from birth, and Brian and I carrying on a tradition instilled in both of us by our ancestors, long even before we were born.
We are up here in Nunavut, Nunavut territory. We're right on the border of the Northwest Territories in Nunavut. Here you can drink right out of the lake. It's just a pristine environment. We decided to take a little break, get some water, rehydrate, get us a drink here and get back on the track.
It's almost surreal to be hunting in an environment that has remained seemingly untouched, where the only sign of mankind is a lonely Inukshuk standing in silent welcome of hunting grounds, where generations of hunters throughout time have provided for their families.
Well, we just spotted a herd of bulls and came down over the ridge and tried to get in front of them. They're kind of feeding away from us or moving away from us, but looks like along the lake here we've got some terrain where maybe we can stay hidden.
The hours of glassing that Peter and Brian had put in did indeed pay off. The caribou they spotted at a distance was a great bull, and better yet, this great bull was slowly feeding right into Brian's lap. This ambush was easier said than done. After spotting the bull, the crew had to swing out around the lone bull, which meant jogging through the boggy tundra for almost a mile just to intercept him. You're watching the hunt unfold right here on Martin Archery's Wild Extremes. Welcome back to Martin Archery's Wild Extremes. Now let's get back at it as crew member Brian Guffey gets hardcore on a caribou at Adventure Northwest. This segment of Martin Archery's Wild Extremes is being brought to you by Double Bull Archery, home of the Dark Archer.
Well, we just spotted a herd of bulls and came down over the ridge and tried to get in front of them. They're kind of feeding away from us or moving away from us, but looks like along the lake here we've got some terrain where maybe we can stay hidden.
This is where that good work ethic comes into play. Success is never easy, and Brian was determined to be successful. The small herd of bulls were moving back out to open tundra, and it was act now or lose the monster bull forever. The crew moved at a dog trot, swinging wide of the caribou, going more than a half a mile to get into the path of the traveling bull. Using every piece of available cover, Peter and Brian slowly and silently got into position. Now all that was left was for Brian to pull the trigger and make his shot count.
Oh man.
Didn't know how to hit him.
Good job, man. Thanks, man. I can't tell if I was pumping and panting for running or excited. That is a dandy bull, folks. I tell you what. Give it up, brother. Oh man. That is too cool.
Peter, my friend, you did it again. You found me another good bull. Yeah, look at the top. That is way cool. Got a big old, he's got a double shovel. Yeah, he does.
All right, man. Thank you very much. We're hunting with Adventure Northwest up here. Actually, we're in Northwest Territories today, aren't we? We had tags in Nunavut and Northwest Territories both. And so, yeah, we're lucky enough to take a bull in each place. But this has just been a phenomenal hunt. I mean, we've seen grizzly, we've seen wolves, lots of caribou. I tell you what, I've had the time of my life.
Yeah, it's awesome. Well, even got handles right there on the back here.
That is, I'm just amazed with that. How long do you suppose that is?
That's hard.
Curves way around.
That's like motorbike handles. So.
Love the shovel too.
I got some points here too. Nice long shovel.
For a caribou hunt like the crew of Martin Archery's Wild Extremes experienced, give Adventure Northwest a call. It'll be a hunt you'll remember for a lifetime. The caribou was down, but this hunt was far from over. There was still quite a bit of packing and burying to do.
Okay. We're burying meat and antlers from the birds. What the deal is, Brian took his bull in the Northwest Territories. You can take the meat and antlers home, but you can't, what's the deal? You can't transport it back to Nunavut Territory, right, Pete?
Yep, that's
And
right.
but when we fly out on Saturday, the plane can come out here and get it, but we can't take it a mile to camp to finish it up. So we got to leave it out here on the island and hunt legal. And but we'll be back on Saturday to get it for the ride home. Get in there, Pete. I'll give you a push, man. Okay, we're homeward bound. Some of Susie's good home cooking at Pellet Lake Camp. What a great hunt we had today. Went down to the wire and saw that bull at a distance, probably better than a mile, and hustled around there and got on him. Brian made a great shot, and what a beautiful bull. Brian did good.
Hey, thanks for being with us today right here on Martin Archery's Wild Extremes. What a great hunt. And Boyd Warner, thank you for having the crew up to hunt with Adventure Northwest. I would strongly suggest you guys call Boyd if you're in the market for a great caribou hunt, or call Mark Buer, Bowhunting Safari Consultants, to book hunts of any other species in the world. they've got you covered. Be sure and be with us right here next week. I go to RK Outfitters. I hunt with Rick Kruder in Nebraska on some turkeys. And if you are a turkey freak, this is the show for you. And if you're not a turkey freak, this is still the show for you, because you're going to see some stuff you've never seen before. I have never, ever seen turkeys like Rick's got out there in Nebraska. Thanks for being with us today. This has been Martin Archery's Wild Extremes. Martin Archery's Wild Extremes has been brought to you by Martin Archery, making the most accurate bows for over 50 years. Double Bull Archery, home of the Dark Archer. And also in part by these other great companies: Grim Reaper Broadheads, Carbon Tech Arrows, and the Kankakee Marsh Hunt Club. Additional products have been provided by these companies:
Man, Charlie, buddy, we got us a monster.
This has been a Wild Serenade production.